But for guys that are starting out new, and the biggest problem here, Bobby, is if you want to start out new and you want to have two or three trucks starting out, I mean, your options are limited, right? I mean, there's just not a whole lot of insurance companies that'll do it. And then guys are scratching around for risk retention groups, they're scratching around for monoline cargo, and then they get burned in the end because they can't even haul loads.
Yeah, that's the worst. Especially the odds are stacked against you when you're starting off as a new company, and then plus with the insurance, how high it is, and then your options. But it's absolutely crazy. So say if you're owner op, right, and you want to like lower your insurance premiums, like without hurting coverages, is there any way of doing that, or?
Yeah. One, go on one of those online credit apps and fix your credit. If you're an owner op, if you're a one man trucker, um, dude, half your rate is based off your credit. Okay. So if you can do a couple things and just fix it just a little bit, we've seen 20 to 30% variances in premiums week over week based off of people that fix their credit. The other thing you can do that we do as a service in here is you need to make sure that you understand what's on your SMS scores and what's on your cab report. You need to make sure you have a company that can data queue any unfair inspections and non-preventable claims because that's going to help you a ton on rate.
Yeah, and people need to save money, right? The more money you save, the higher chances
Mhm.
you're going to be of being successful already in this hard ass market, dude. Another guy says for guys that are starting out, new insurance can be the best. Brokers can't be the best. No, brokers won't touch you. Yeah, I mean brokers won't touch you if you're just starting off, anyways, for the first 3 to 6 months. So on top of it, having like shitty insurance,
Yeah.
especially like you said, if a flatbed and like a lot of brokers are not using it, that's definitely going to hurt them. So, what are some things that people think is going to save them money, but in the long run, with insurance, is actually going to cost them money instead of saving it for them?
Changing companies every year, right? So if you jump around to insurance companies every year, a different one, and I'll tell you guys, these guys are bastards. Um, we can see who you're with, how long you've been with them. We can actually see who you're shopping with, right? So we go to an insurance underwriter on a new account, and let's say it's a guy with like 8 or 9 trucks. I'll call one of my underwriters from a really good company like Acuity for say, and they'll tell me, hey, this guy's cab report has been run 60 times, which means 60 different insurance carriers or agencies are looking at their account. And then that makes the underwriter go, well, I don't want to compete, right? We don't want to go to a rock bottom price and compete against every other freaking insurance market out there. Now, healthy competition is good, right? So what you want to do is have someone and select your shopping and make sure that the good markets out there are covered. The best way that we beat people's insurance rates down is showing the incumbent carrier where the market is. So like, this week I got a flatbed guy out of Indiana. His renewal was $150,000 with Gray West, right? I got him a bid from Berkeley Small for 120. Showed it to Great West. They're like, well, we like the account, we'll match it.
Oh no,
Right?
shit.
Guys,
That's the first
guys,
time I've ever heard of that.
this shit is made up. Okay, it's a fugazi, it's a fugazi. There's some actuarial science to it. There's some underwriting that goes into it, but every company has some wiggle room. But we can't just call a company and say lower the rate
Got it.
because then all the lying and cheating, stealing and thieving insurance agents out there are just going to call and say lower the rate, lower the rate. Then the insurance companies go broke, which I'm sure you guys would love. I would love sometimes too. But we have to do our jobs and make sure that we have good competition to keep these insurance companies honest.
So safety scores, right? How big of a factor are safety scores on insurance policy premiums?
Huge, huge. And honestly, the shitty thing about this market is the smaller you are, the more of a play they have. So like as a one unit owner operator, you have such a small window of error versus someone that pays, $2 to $3 million in premium, they have a little bit bigger window of error. I'll tell you the two biggest things insurance companies don't want to see on your CSA scores are unsafe driving, okay? And they don't want to see any drug or alcohol violations. As long as you keep unsafe driving and drug and alcohol down, or I mean, drug and alcohol zero, obviously, then we have a shot, right? But if you've got speeding in a truck, if you've got following too close, that's the biggest one. Then these guys aren't going to want to touch you, or they're not going to want to give preferred rates.
Now you mentioned credit scores, right? Big part of lowering your rates and shit like that. Is there anything else that would help lower the rate besides just better credit, or is that basically?
For a small guy, um, That's really it. And then where are you located out of? Like if you're really mobile, like if you're not married to an area, the area you operate out of is huge. Bettendorf, Iowa has a different base rate than Chicago, Illinois,
So don't
right?
register your companies out of Bettendorf, Iowa. Wink, wink.
I mean, and then states are different. Like the state we work in that has the craziest high insurance rates is Texas. Texas is um, it's a Republican-led state, but the court system is blue. The court system is very liberal, and so when claims go to court in Texas, they tend to be 20 to 25% higher than even Illinois. So you see that reflected in you Texas guys. I mean, you guys pay out the ass. It's crazy.
Yeah, Texas. Yeah, there are a bunch of different. California too, right?
Yeah.
Florida.
Well, California is an interesting market because the state insurance department has freezed any sort of rate increase, and insurance carriers pull out, which artificially increases the premiums. So, like we kind of steer clear of California just because you never know what the insurance department's going to do.
So like when you look at a damn certificate of insurance where somebody covers cargo, contingency, all these other fucking different things, which one's really the most important, dude?
Your cargo.
Cargo.
The cargo is the one thing that's going to make or break you. The cargo is the one thing that's going to let you get loads or not get loads. Now, if you have a liability company that's not admitted, like a risk retention group, that can cause you some problems. The fact of the matter is this is one of the only insurances that anyone ever buys. And, no one wants to use their insurance, but, in every trucking claim, no one wants it to pay. No one wants liability to pay, right? No one wants to have to use their insurance for FISDAM. But cargo is the thing that can make and break you, mainly because of shipper and broker relationships. Bobby, you're dispatching. You deal with brokers. If your top broker cuts you off because one of your flatbed, I'll tell you a really cool coverage that we just came out with. If you're refrigerated flatbed, right? There's special coverage for refrigerated flatbed. If you don't have that on there, then those reefer flatbed guys, they'll cut you off.
Those are highest claimed ones, man. Those are hard to get covered, but I can't believe you could actually get it covered. So that's pretty good, man. So you guys hear that? For all you guys that are going to be buying these refrigerated flatbeds, you know who to go to get this insurance coverage. You know what I mean? There's Marcin finally jumps in. Jesus Christ, where were you, man? If you answer somebody's, so the gentleman that says Cruzel, Kruzl, that is my godson. If there's any questions or any contact information you guys want, if he answers it, he's giving you the correct information. So he is not a spammer. That is my family member in the comments because my godson works there too. That's actually how I met Brock. And that's how we actually ended up meeting. And like I said, man, like usually I was always like, man, get the cheap insurance, cut corners, do this, do that. Like nobody ever changed my mind about this shit for like 20 something years, man. And then I met you and I'm like, just a couple conversations with you. And I'm like, all right, maybe this is one of those things that you shouldn't be cutting corners on. And you should be definitely, making sure that your company, your assets, everything's protected, right? Just by.
Well, look, there's always a line, right? There's always a line that you can cross. And, we're not Boy Scouts, I live with my toes on the line, right? We never cross it, but we live with our toes on the line, and we're the type of agency that keeps people around for a long time, and that's our goal. We want to keep you in business. We want to help you grow. Some of my biggest accounts I wrote with 2 to 3 trucks that are up to 50 to 100 trucks now.
It's the way to do it, man. To grow with them.
Because we stopped them from making mistakes that would have screwed their insurance business on the insurance side.
And I think the one guy's trying to get in. He's trying to ask a question, but he's like, "Are you taking questions?" Sure, but you gotta write one, right? So, like, what's one thing that a lot of people like don't even think about that they think they're covered for, and then when shit happens, they're like, "Oh fuck, we're not covered for this."
Oh, there's some fun ones out there. Marring is a big one. So if you unintentionally damage your freight, most cargo policies don't cover that. Um, if The other one is reefer breakdown is the most misunderstood coverage out there. The actual cause of loss is temperature change, right? So that's the actual coverage you need. Otherwise, your reefer has to actually break down for coverage to come. For you fuel haulers out there, missed delivery is a big one. You grain haulers, most of your cargo policies don't cover contamination of grain, which, we keep talking about these coverages. The the silly fact in the insurance market is the companies that offer these coverages are typically the best priced companies out there because they they select their risk very well and they select their agency force very well. So we're out there on the front line making sure, Acuity and Great West, that they get guys that care. They get guys that, want to follow along. Um, you mentioned Marson. He's doing a great job. We've written some nice Acuity accounts. They give you a risk guy for free, right? They'll come out there and look at your operation and help you with your driver files for free. Great West gives you a guy's cell phone number that comes and visits you 3 times a year and will run safety meetings for free, right? That's how we keep those rates down, is because we help people operate at best standards.
They're asking, what about errors and omissions insurance? I don't know if they're trolling or what, or is that real
No,
thing?
no, E&O is that can happen in more of the intermodal world. We see that a lot, especially if you're taking stuff from overseas. We can help with that. It's a little bit more complicated. Um, if cargo is changing hands 2 to 3 times, E&O comes in. But we do that, but that's a select few that need that, and usually bigger fleets need that.
Please put up and let me know. Thank you. If there a number to get a hold of him? Yeah, Trucker Bob 25 Marson. I was going to say KRUZL. He'll give you guys all the contact information. He's in the chat right now. He'll definitely do that. So, say for example, you go like me a couple years back, right? I go with the cheapest fucking policy possible. What are some things that are going to pop up that are going to bite me in the ass for doing it?
Look, if shit doesn't happen, then the cheapest policy is the best policy.
Yeah, well,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
but shit
Yeah,
happens. Shit happens.
yeah, shit happens.
Yeah.
Just little things like name driver exclusions. Like if you get a physical damage only policy, they'll have a name driver exclusion which says we're only covering drivers that you have reported. Whereas we all know it's Saturday, you get a new driver, you put him in a truck, you do a road test, and then he gets in an accident on Monday and you didn't call the insurance company. Well, you got an $80,000 truck that's now your fucking problem, right? Um, Things like that come up. Name driver exclusions on liability. I see online all the time where people get hit by other people's trucks, and they call their insurance, and they're like, "Oh, that guy wasn't a driver. Screw you." Those are things that come in that really make people mad. I mean, I still haven't met a trucker that, if they get in an accident, it's their fault. They want to take care of people. I mean, you guys are salt of the earth. Like, when you messed up. But guys, 50, 60% of the claims out there are not your fault, and you're still paying, right? You're still paying for it because everybody wants to blame the truck. So, that's, when we look at that stuff, that's what we really see is there's some really ticky tack stuff out there that may save you a few $100, but it'll ruin your year.
It looks like you're Roger approved because Roger got a new profile, I guess. And every time somebody hops on and we talk about some kind of industry, he always asks some kind of fucking question. He's going to try to trip these people up, and that was the errors and omission question. And he bingoed you, so it means you're Roger approved. That's good. He's always a heckler, dude. He's like, whenever he smells some bullshit somewhere, he's always calling people out. But that's a good thing. So. What's like the worst insurance situation you think that could happen to somebody? Like, I mean, if they don't have the correct coverage, what's the worst shit out there that
Look,
really will fuck them?
look, if you don't have if you don't have assets, like if you don't have money in the bank, that's what insurance is meant for. Okay. True insurance is meant to cover catastrophic loss. How many owner operators out there with one truck have $1 million in the bank at risk, right? This is the only insurance that covers more than people tend to be worth. Okay. Where guys can really get screwed is if they buy a program that doesn't fit with what they do and doesn't fit with their plan. And then they get midterm canceled. If any y'all ever out there have ever been midterm canceled, that's like sharks in the water or blood in the water to sharks, because then insurance companies can see that and they know they don't have to compete price wise for your business. They have to compete for just the acceptability, and then they can charge whatever they want. So
I'm
I've
sorry
seen
before I
so
cut you off. Jesse, yeah, if they have Great West, man. So if you want to, Guy Cruzo, KRUZL, he'll reply to you. Hit him up. He'll give you his info. They definitely have it, and these are we just partnered up, so we're gonna start a partnership starting next week. We're gonna start pushing some content out. But this guy is I'm not even bullshitting, legit broker, insurance broker. They got all the good companies. He's not gonna skim on coverage. So if you want some shady coverage, it's gonna get you by. This is not the place to go to. if you want to make sure you're protected, your ass is protected, you get the exact insurance you need. Like Axel just said, this one does he does a super ego one win 5 trucks? No, no, this is definitely not, dude. So like I made sure, like, you know, I mean, if I'm gonna partner with somebody, I want to make sure they're legit. These guys are 100% legit. They're gonna help you out for sure, and they're gonna make sure you're covered if anything happens. And then one more question, sorry, from Gregor. What insurance is needed for hazmat?
So just base insurance, right? You, depending on what you're hauling, you need $1 million filing. Okay. And then if you're hauling fuel, for instance, then you're going to need a $4 million excess on top of that. And most terminals require actually a $5 million excess past what the FMSCA requires. Actual insurance wise, it's more of an acceptability issue. You know, a lot of the carriers you see out there won't do hazmat. Our top carrier, Great West, if you're hauling dry van and you call me and say, "Hey, I want to haul hazmat," guess what? You're already covered. You're good.
Oh
We'll
well.
pick up we'll pick up the risk on renewal. And the crazy thing out there, guys, the cheapest insurance policies out there are hazmat guys. It's crazy. It's you wouldn't
Oh
think
yeah,
it,
you were
but when's
talking
the
about
last
that
time you,
earlier too. Today we
yeah,
were talking about that. Yeah.
yeah, when's the last time you saw a tanker blow up on the news? You know what I mean?
I'm
So
55. I've seen them tip over though, dude. But I don't know if it's.
yeah,
I don't know if it's. But maybe probably has been. But yeah, it's
yeah.
not rare.
So
It's mostly other trucks.
so hazmat isn't necessarily what covers you need. It's an acceptability feature on your insurance policy. Will they let you haul with a placard? That's what you need to worry about.
We got content creator coverage. Axel's asking.
No,
No, definitely
no.
not, dude. So like, like I know insurance coverages like only cover like say what if you got 100,000, 152, 250, whatever the fuck you got, right? But what's the biggest claim you've seen ever come through, like dollar amount?
Biggest claim, I think it was down in Texas. It was the $9 billion judgment.
Wait, sorry, before you answer that, because they're asking if he's with Great West. No, he's not directly with Great West. How do I answer that so I don't get you in trouble with the insurance
I'm a
companies?
Great West appointed agency.
There you go.
So
I
you
don't know.
can't sell Great West unless you're an appointed agency. Everybody can't go to a wholesaler and get it. You can't go to a buddy and get it. You have to be vetted. There's typically 5 to 6 agencies per state that have it. We have it in every state except for California, Florida, New York, and Louisiana. And if you're mad that you can't get it there, talk to your state legislator and tell them to do tort reform.
No,
Then we'll
the same
go.
person's asking, is it true that Great West does not want to insure carriers from Cook County?
No,
He's been told that a few times.
no,
So that
no.
probably
That's
means his agent doesn't really carry Great West and just blowing smoke up his ass to get him to a different insurance.
Yep. We actually see that a lot. And again, first comment on this thread was lying and cheating insurance agents, right? And Bobby, we talked about this before today. My biggest competition as an agent is not good insurance agencies. Like I know most of the good ones. We actually get along. Our biggest competition is lying and cheating insurance agencies like, people that will say, "Hey, we have Great West," but they declined you or they won't do Cook County. No, most of like my biggest fleets are in Cook County with Great West. And actually, Cook County and Illinois have changed tort reform to the benefit of the trucker. Used to be one of the worst states to get insurance in, and now it's kind of creeping up where your rates out of Illinois are more mirroring Indiana, Ohio, where before Illinois was crazy high.
Dude, there's so many fucking. I was not expecting this many fucking insurance questions, bro. Holy shit, dude. Dude, you got this is wild. Okay, so Wesco, what the fuck, Wesco? Why is Wesco not renewing or writing new policies?
Um, there's a long answer that's going to bore everyone. The short answer is they lost a bunch of money and their financial backing just said, look, we can't support this anymore. They actually, I was a Wesco appointed agent. What happened was they went into their book of business and did a new rating model to see what they actually needed to charge people to turn a small profit. And their rating model showed they legally couldn't charge enough money with their filed rates to even catch up. So instead of trying to catch up and lose money year after year after year, they just pulled the plug. They said no moss, right? They're out. And you see that a lot with some of the smaller carriers in Wesco, which is a branch of AmTrust, right? So part of the Resco family is AmTrust. Just pulled out. They just said no more. We can't do it.
Damn, bro, you know a lot about fucking insurance, bro. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. This is one of the things. Like, cause when I met you, like I said, man, like this when you talk about it, like you just like it seems like you always study it. It seems like you're very passionate about it. And so far, like every question, like you just like literally know an answer for it. It just seems like you like live and breathe fucking insurance, dude. At this
I
point, bro.
I drink and I know things.
Yeah. Then
That's it.
question about interchange. I mean, that's pretty simple, I guess, right? Just add it to your policy.
So look, can we jump into interchange for a second?
Yeah, knock yourself out.
Again, one of the most misunderstood coverages out there, and I'll say I blame the freight brokers because they want to see the word interchange written on a cert because their boss says they want to see interchange on a cert. True interchange only covers the rail yards, JB Hunt, and has to have a signed interchange agreement. You want to talk about getting screwed? If you have Progressive right now and you have trailer interchange and you do not have a signed interchange agreement with the shippers you're working for, you have no coverage. Nothing. You're done. I don't care if you've been paying for it for 10 years. It's null and void without a signed interchange agreement. What we like to write is a coverage called Bailey, which is non-owned trailer physical damage. And what that does is that covers any trailer equipment in your care, custody, and control, whether it be a trailer or a rented truck. Okay. And that's a more encompassing coverage and it costs the exact same.
Dude,
Right.
this.
So we want
I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish. I thought you're done. Finish
no,
up.
it just costs the exact same. And then we word it as non-owned trailer physical damage on a cert of insurance so brokers will accept it.
Yeah. Sorry, because there's seriously something I'm trying to go through. So you let answer his question. I thought this guy was like joking earlier, so I didn't answer the question. But he's like, artwork. Seriously, we can't find insurance that offers a fine art endorsement to buy our to our cargo policy. And then George, I got you next on your question about Century. Next question, Century, now artwork. All right, go ahead.
Guess who covers fine art?
Great West. There you go, dude. So your insurance broker probably blew smoke up your ass and have Great West and then couldn't get it for you. So it is doable, you're saying, right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Then George is asking, Century lost a lot of money as well. Am I correct?
So I'm not an appointed Century agent. So Century and Great West tend to not like to be in the same agencies. There are some that have them both, but they've been around for a freaking 100 years. I can't really comment on what they've done and haven't. Do I know the answer? Do I know their exact loss ratio? I do, but I can't comment on that since I'm not an appointed agent, and that's inside information. I'm not going to go there. If you call me, yeah, maybe we can have a discussion, but I'm not going to put it out.
What's the best insurance for a box truck?
Acuity. Acuity. You guys will notice a theme here. Loading and unloading, right? How many box truck guys actually have to load and unload out of their box truck? Your typical cargo coverage stops the second you touch that and load and unload. So like if you're unloading mattresses, if you're unloading appliances, you want to have a company that will do loading and unloading on the cargo form. They also do 11 equal payments. Box trucks, you only need a year of experience, and they don't care about growth. They're like the only insurance carrier out there that says, yeah, as long as you do what we say, hire the drivers we say are okay, you can grow. It's fine. So Acuity is our number one box truck market.
I still got more questions, bro. How often do you see the oversized cargo claims? Are they common?
No, no, they're not. We actually really like oversized. We have a lot of guys that do the oversized concrete, the prefab concrete. It's typically a higher trained driver. It's just an acceptability. And as I said before, I love Acuity, right? We've got the Acuity thing. Acuity doesn't like oversized, right? So what my job is I have to know exactly what every market likes and doesn't, and they all like different stuff. So yeah, oversized. I like those accounts. They plan their trips, and we haven't seen very many big claims out of them.
Uh-oh, Roger got another trip you up. Going to get your ask question. Please explain gratuitous Bailey.
Gratuitous Bailey.
Oh, yeah, gratuitous? Yeah, Bailee.
Bailey is the coverage I talked about. It's the simplest way to look at it is care, custody, and control, right? If you take possession of someone else's item, you have physical damage coverage for that while it's under your care, custody, control, whether it be a trailer or whether it be a rented truck.